You say you want the dream. You say you're hungry for it. You wake up every morning with a vision in your heart and a fire in your gut. But let me ask you something. Have you paid the price yet? Because dreams are not given. They are rented. And the rent is due every damn day. This world doesn't hand out trophies for wishes. It honors warriors of consistency, of sacrifice, of relentless self-belief. You don't get what you wish for. You get what you work for, what you bleed for, what you refuse to quit on, even when your hands shake and your knees buckle. Understand this. Every dream has a price tag and is always paid up front. Some pay with years of isolation. Some pay with the discomfort of change. Some pay by walking alone when the crowd laughs and turns away. And some pay with failure after failure until the world finally says, okay, he's not going away. Let him through. And you have to decide today if your dream is worth that. Because this is not about talent, not luck, not timing. It's about resilience. It's about whether your reason is stronger than your excuse. The dream tests you. It puts pressure on your weaknesses and magnifies your fears. It drags you through storms so it can see if you'll crawl through thunder for what you say you want. It does not bend to mediocrity. It only opens to those who are obsessed with becoming more than what the world expects of them. And that begins in your mind. If you believe that success belongs to the lucky, you've already failed. If you think millionaires were just born with it, you've already quit. If you think greatness is reserved for a chosen few, you have buried your own power before it ever had the chance to rise. Because your belief or lack of it is the architect of your destiny. Henry Ford said, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And the mind builds prisons or palaces. It carves out excuses or opportunity. And it is you who decides what it creates. You think Carnegie walked into steel with certainty? You think Edison knew his light would work after the 1,000th failure? You think Oprah, raised in poverty and trauma, didn't have every reason to quit before she ever began? They all had something in common. They believed it was possible anyway. Belief is not naive. It is not blind optimism. It is the highest act of courage to see no evidence of success and move anyway. To stare into the unknown and say, I don't see the path, but I'll walk forward until it appears. Because that's where the shift begins. Not in your results. Not in your bank account. Not in the applause of the crowd. It begins when you decide that you are enough. That your past will not define you. That your limitations are not permanent. That you were born with something valuable. A vision, a voice, a calling, and it is your obligation to bring it to life, no matter what it costs you. You want the dream? Then stop waiting to feel ready. Because belief doesn't come from waiting. It comes from movement. Start before the doubt disappears. Start before the fear leaves. Start before the world claps for you. And if they never clap, clap for yourself. You must become your own motivation before anyone else can see the value in what you do. So stop asking if it's going to be hard. Of course it's going to be hard. That's the point. You're not being tested because the dream doesn't want you. You're being tested because it wants to know, do you want it enough? You say you're committed, but let me ask you, what do your habits say? Because your dream listens more to your routine than your words. Discipline is the invisible contract between you and your future. It's the silent oath you make in the dark. When no one's watching, when no one's applauding, when the thrill is gone, and only commitment remains. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. And discipline is the system that delivers your destiny. You think champions feel like it every day? You think the most successful people wake up energized, focused, and fearless 365 days a year? They wake up and act anyway. Discipline is not about how you feel. It's about what you decide to do in spite of how you feel. It's the cold morning run, the unread pages of the book, the content no one liked, the product no one bought, the call no one returned, and doing it again and again, and again, until the world has no choice but to notice. Because the world doesn't reward potential. It rewards execution, repetition, endurance. You see, every dream carries a hidden invoice, and discipline is the currency that pays it down one action at a time. Let me tell you something few will admit. Your dream doesn't care how inspired you are. It only responds to consistency. You could be the most talented speaker, writer, creator, entrepreneur, visionary, but if you only show up when it's easy, if you only move when you're motivated, then your dream will rot in the hands of your convenience. Clarity is your compass. But action? Action is your engine. And you build clarity not by sitting in silence waiting for revelation. You build it by doing, by showing up when the fog hasn't cleared, by walking even when the path is still covered in shadows. You do not wait for the mountain to lower you, grow the legs to climb it. Ask any visionary. They didn't wait to feel certain. They built certainty through momentum. Martin Luther King didn't see the full staircase. He took the first step. Walt Disney didn't pitch Mickey Mouse to the 200th person because he knew it would finally work. He did it because he refused to quit. That's the price. Not one grand act of passion, but 1,000 small, quiet choices that compound over time. And don't you dare underestimate the power of small steps. Small doesn't mean insignificant. Small means sustainable. Small is how you master yourself. Wake up earlier by 10 minutes. Turn off the distractions for 1 hour. Say no once today. Push a little harder, just once more. It's the discipline of the one more that separates the legends from the lost. Because dreams are not achieved by doing everything at once. They are achieved by doing the next right thing relentlessly. You don't need a new plan. You need to follow through on the one you've been avoiding. There's a voice in you that knows what needs to be done, and yet you scroll. You delay. You wait for the right moment. Let me tell you the truth. The right moment doesn't exist. The moment you choose is the right one. So choose to become the kind of person whose actions match their ambitions. Choose to stop watching others live your dream. Choose to stop talking and start building. This is not about being perfect. This is about being willing to take imperfect action, willing to be seen trying, willing to keep showing up when the results aren't instant, because you don't rise by doing it once. You rise by doing it until it works, until the grind becomes grace, until the practice becomes identity, until the person you've been becoming quietly finally shows up in full power. And when you do, when you move with clarity and discipline, when you own your routine like your life depends on it, the world begins to bend to your consistency. You will be tested. Not once, not twice, but again and again until your desire proves stronger than your doubt. The universe does not hand over the keys to the dream on your first knock. It wants to see, will you keep knocking when your knuckles bleed? Will you keep pushing when progress is invisible? Will you still believe when the applause disappears and the silence becomes deafening? That is resilience. Not how loud you are in your victories, but how quiet you remain in your discipline when nothing is working. Adversity is not your enemy, it is your sculptor. It does not come to destroy you. It comes to reveal you, the real you, the one beneath the comfort, the one forged in challenge, the one who was always there waiting for the world to get hard enough to bring them out. You think Abraham Lincoln wasn't broken by failure? 8 election losses, business bankruptcies, nervous breakdowns, but he refused to yield because his vision outweighed his pain. That's what you need. Not just grit, but grit with a reason. Because the pain will come. You will be misunderstood. You will be rejected. You will doubt every single thing you once believed was meant for you. And in that moment, when your heart is shattered, when the progress is microscopic, when the path is darker than ever, that's where most people quit. Not because they couldn't, But because they wouldn't keep going without proof. They wouldn't keep building without applause. They wouldn't keep walking when every voice inside screamed, "Turn back." But you are not most people. You do not let fear write your story. You do not let failure become your identity. You do not let a temporary setback become a permanent excuse. Resilience means you feel the weight and still stand tall. You hear the criticism and still speak with conviction. You take the hit and still show up the next day. Because your dream is not fragile. You are not fragile. You are becoming. Pain is not your punishment. It is the toll you pay on the road to transformation. You want the dream? Then expect resistance. Because anything worth having will demand your scars before it gives you the crown. And here's what most won't tell you. There will be days where your best doesn't feel like enough, where you gave everything and still lost, where you kept the faith and still failed. But hear me, those days don't break you. They build you. They add layers to your foundation. They deepen your resolve. They stretch the limits of who you thought you were. Every setback is not a stop sign. It is a signal to adapt, to refine, to adjust your sails, not abandon the voyage. Do not confuse delay with denial. Just because the door didn't open today doesn't mean it won't swing wide tomorrow, but only for the one still standing there. Think of Edison. He failed over 10,000 times to invent the light bulb, but he didn't call them failures. He called them lessons. Each one eliminating a wrong path, bringing him closer to the right one. Success is not linear. It's a staircase covered in fog. You only see the step after you take the last one. But if you stop climbing, you never find the summit. This is what separates the dreamers from the doers. The dreamers hope. The doers endure. So endure. Outlast the doubt. Outwork the silence. Outbelieve the statistics. Because when you push long enough, when you bend and refuse to break, the world begins to bend with you. The storm will pass. The resistance will fade. And when it does, you will not just have the dream, you will have earned it. And that kind of dream, that kind of success, the kind that was carved in adversity and paid for in grit, that's the kind that no one can take from you. You don't get the dream by staying who you are. You get it by becoming someone new, by evolving, by shedding the old self, the fearful self, the small self, the one that settles for maybe someday, and stepping into the version of you that the dream demands, because the dream has standards. And it will not lower them just because you're tired or scared or uncertain. It will wait quietly, patiently until you rise to meet it. You think the vision came to you by accident? You think that calling in your chest is random? Number. It chose you because you're the one meant to carry it. You're the one meant to build it. Brick by brick. Sacrifice by sacrifice. Day by day until the life you once imagined becomes the life you actually live. But to do that, you have to see beyond the now. You have to stop looking at your current circumstances as a verdict and start seeing them as a starting line. Walt Disney was broke and rejected hundreds of times. Colonel Sanders was turned down by over 1,000 restaurants. Les Brown was labeled educably mentally retarded as a child. But they all had vision and the courage to believe in it even when no one else did. Vision is not just about dreaming big. It's about seeing clearly, seeing who you must become, what you must let go of, what you must endure, and still choosing to go forward anyway. Because purpose is not comfort. Purpose is conviction. And once you lock into that conviction, once you feel deep in your soul that this thing you're building matters, nothing can stop you. Not failure, not fear, not the people who laugh or the friends who leave or the times you fall on your face. Because purpose turns pain into fuel. It turns obstacles into curriculum. It turns rejection into redirection. The moment you align with your vision, the universe begins to move. Not because the path becomes easier, but because you become stronger Your vision isn't just a picture of the future, it's a mirror of your potential. And your job is to become the person who can hold it. So, what does that person look like? They are focused, they are disciplined, they are hungry for truth, not comfort. They do not chase applause, they do not chase followers, they chase mastery because they know you don't rise to the level of your dreams. You rise to the level of your identity. So craft that identity, define it, declare it. Wake up and decide who you are every single morning. And when the doubt creeps in, because you remind yourself that the dream doesn't belong to the lucky. It belongs to the prepared. Prepared to be alone, prepared to be misunderstood, prepared to fail publicly and get up privately, prepared to invest when it's risky, prepared to act when it's inconvenient, prepared to believe when belief hurts. This is not a path for everyone, but that's exactly what makes it sacred. Most will look for shortcuts. You build the road. Most will wait for permission. You give yourself permission. Most will settle. You will not. You are the builder, the carrier of a vision so much bigger than the opinions that surround you. You are the bridge between who you were and who you are becoming, but only if you move. The price of your dream is not just time or energy, it's identity. The cost is the old version of you, and that price is worth everything. There will come a day when it all comes full circle, when the pain you once cursed becomes the reason you're standing, when the nights you wept in silence turn into chapters of victory no one saw being written, when the voice inside you, the one that never stopped whispering, "Keep going," becomes the anthem of everything you've built. That's the day when the dream pays you back, not just in money, not just in status or recognition, but in becoming someone you're proud of, someone who didn't fold under pressure, someone who didn't settle for safety, someone who became everything they said they would be. This is not just about success. This is about legacy. This is about the invisible echo your life will leave when you're gone. Will they say you had potential, or will they say you fulfilled it? Will they remember a person who lived by circumstance, or one who redefined it? You don't get to choose when you leave this earth, but you do get to choose what you leave behind. And the truth, the raw, brutal, beautiful truth, the greatest tragedy is not that people die, it's that they die without ever having lived. They let the years pass in fear, trading risk for routine, sacrificing greatness for familiarity. But you are not here to be safe. You are not here to tiptoe through life just to arrive at death untouched. You are here to set fire to your limits, to burn down every excuse you've ever made, to become a living testament that a single human being fully committed can reshape everything. So don't quit. When it's hard, don't quit. When you're tired, don't quit. When it feels like no one cares, you care. That's enough. When the world is quiet and the progress is slow and your dream feels distant, don't quit. Because the difference between those who make it and those who don't is not that the successful never struggled, but that they refuse to give up when it mattered most. Your dream is waiting for you on the other side of your persistence, and it doesn't care how long it takes. It only cares that you keep showing up. This is the price, and yes, it's high. It costs your comfort. It costs your excuses. It costs your old self. But what you get in return, you get to walk through life with power, with peace, with purpose, knowing you didn't back down, knowing you gave everything, knowing you became everything. And in the end, that's what this was always about. Not just building a dream, but becoming the kind of person who could. So now, look in the mirror, stand tall, shoulders back, and say it out loud, "I'm willing to pay the price." Then do it every day until the dream is no longer a vision in your head, but the life you wake up to, because you never want it easy. You want it unforgettable, and unforgettable comes with a price. Now go pay it in full.